All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we'll get into a little bit of what I like to call funeral etiquette. It's not an entire lesson on funeral etiquette, but it's a couple things I wanted to talk about. We get into some serious topics on veteran suicide and my rant on that. And I'll give you a couple of current updates in the life of Libretti. So all that plus a interesting Cage fact coming at you right now. All right, Jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti. If you're new to the LPDS universe, welcome. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow on the Instagrams and the Facebook and all that so that you know when future fan questions are coming up. LPDS polls, all the good updates are usually posted on Instagrams and sometimes Facebook. So check out that. Hope everybody had a good week. I don't know. I put up some stuff in the LPDS studio here, but I put it up high because I got a little tight quarters behind my desk, and I wasn't sure if putting these pictures and stuff too low on the wall, I would back in and hit them and stuff like that. So I think I actually ended up putting them too high. So this camera angle, I'm trying to show a little bit of the updates, but it's not coming out too well. I'm not sure how I like it too much. So I'm thinking about probably throughout this week, I'll lower these down a little bit again. This was a real pain. This stupid axe was a real pain to put up because my walls, here's a little fun story for you. The studs in the walls in this house, of course, the only house in America like this, are 22 inches apart, not 16 inches. Maybe they're 24 inches. They're just not 16. The standard is usually it's like 16, I believe it is. 16 or 18. I believe 16 is the standard for studs in a house, and this one is non-standard. So I had to put anchors in the wall to get the screws on for that mount for that axe, because it's a real axe, real blades. It's kind of heavy, and I kept putting the anchor in, and then when I was screwing the screw in to the wall through the anchor, it kept pushing through the flimsy wall and dropping down into the wall behind it. I lost about 2 or 3 screws and anchors back there. And at one point I was so heated that it was happening that I almost just took my hammer and just started blasting the wall to get these screws back. Because I'm out of screws and anchors now. That's it. Or whatever's back there. Now I got to move the damn thing lower because it looks stupid on camera. So, look, you live and learn, folks. This is what we do here. All right? I learned the hard lesson so you don't have to. All right? Anyway, I got some pictures up. It's getting better. The HQ, the headquarters, is getting good here at the LPDS ranch at the compound. So more stuff to come. I will probably lower this flag here. I'll lower this Rocky painting. I'll lower the axe down. I have that other purple flag that I got as a gift that came along with the axe, and that fell already. Okay, so quick little. Another story on that. The people who made that gift, the company who makes that smaller wood flag, put the mounting wood upside down on the piece, on the art piece. So if I wanted to mount it based off of the mounting strip that they put on there and the grooves that they carved out for like a nail or whatever, I would have to flip it upside down. It would be a distress flag. So I thought if I load the back of this up with double-sided tape and put it on the wall, it was going to go up at the top of the wall up there. So you wouldn't have been able to see it. So that's why I got to drop this axe down, and then I'll put it like right up there. I'm looking at the camera here. So right up there on the wall. I'll try to put it there in YouTube land if you're watching. And I put that thing on the wall, and I don't know, 3 hours later it fell. So that's that with that. So I got to get some, I don't know, super glue. I got to figure out how to put another piece of wood on the back of that so that I can create a little mounting area without drilling or screwing through the front of the flag piece. So we'll get that all figured out. I don't have the equipment with me, so I have to go purchase it somewhere or barter for it at some hardware store. But this flag to my right in YouTube land, you can only see the bottom right corner of it. That already has hangers up there. That's up and running. I got to drop that down now. I was thinking about safety so that I wasn't backing into things and they weren't falling, and it backfired on me. I forgot. Somehow I forgot that even when I sit down, I am incredibly short. So I don't have to worry about hitting things when I'm underneath everything. So limbo champion. Anyway, that's that with the update on the LPDS HQ. So there you go. Another quick update in the LPDS universe, though, is, and I'm sure, raise your hand if you even noticed this. Yeah, 0. I'm not doing the website anymore. The website has been not updated the past couple weeks, and it will be set back to private. Here's the deal with the website, guys. I had a whole grand plan to be able to host the videos on there, as opposed to just YouTube, so I could control. I don't have to worry about copyright issues and other crap because I'm not trying to make money out of it, but it creates extra effort with the editing when you have to worry about that stuff on YouTube. So anyway, I wanted to host videos on there. I wanted to put up Cage Facts information on there. I wanted to do like a question, like a forum message board on there for the people eventually, but that costs money, okay? To be able to expand the ability and bandwidth on the website, I had to pay more per month and per year for that, and the price was exorbitant, and I could not justify doing it. Plus, and this is a real statistic here, the only visits the website was getting. Only visits the website was getting or were getting. Only visit were. I don't know. The only visits to the website, this is legitimate here. It was 4 times a month, 4 visits a month. Okay? And those 4 visits were me going into the website each week to update the new episode information. That was it. Nobody else was using it for anything. So, that being said, I'm not going to pay the money anymore to keep it up and running. I'll keep the domain name. That costs $20 a year. No big deal. But to keep the website up and running through Squarespace or whatever, not doing it for only me to visit. It's extra work for 0 eyeballs on it. So maybe in the future, when I have more income and more time, or I can hire someone to keep the site updated and add more crap to it, I'll bring it back. That's why I'll keep the domain name and the information. It's not going away. It's just staying private on the website, which again will be completely transparent to all of you fine folks because nobody goes to the website. So that's fine. There's a couple other reasons why I have the website and I'll keep the data and all that in the domain name, but that's neither here nor there. But no more website. Okay. So if you were the one person every 6 months that visited it, you're going to be mildly perturbed when you see that it's going to be private soon. So sorry about that, fella. Yeah, I'm really not liking this camera angle. Not a fan. It's too high. It makes me look shorter than I already am. I'm already short. already short. I think there is a delay in the audio video. I'm noticing now. We're a mess here, folks. So got to get that all fixed. I got to get a new audio interface. You can't see it on screen because the camera angle's too high, so you can see the Rocky 4 picture. But that's cost money too. That's not a cheap endeavor to get a new audio interface, but that is the cause of a lot of audio issues. This thing is super old. The software doesn't update much anymore, so I got to deal with that. Anyway, moving on. Damn, I'm just riffing today. My parents came back from Italy. They were on a trip. I didn't mention this, I don't think, the previous episode, but they were on a trip to Italy. They went with my godmother and godfather and had a good time. Everything was fine and dandy for the most part. They did not we couldn't do anything for Mother's Day. I was home during Mother's Day weekend, just about, and couldn't do anything with Crazy Carol because she was gallivanting around Italy, eating pizzas and drinking wine and doing Italy things. What you do in Italy, a lot of this and a lot of eating. So they're back, but JPL had a little issue with his Google Maps app on his phone. I don't know if, because he was overseas, it started getting jacked up on him. That wasn't able to triangulate his position and give him, proper directions when he was using it and all that. And then that translated over back when he got back to the States. So it was giving him problems. So he called me to try to figure out how to fix that. And I'm not going to get into the details of what that entailed, but basically he needed to essentially delete the app, then go back to the App Store to download it again. And it should have reset all the issues with the map, with the app, application. That was an hour-long phone call to get that figured out. Now, again, I'm not here to dog on the old man, be like, this is ridiculous. How can you not figure it out? It's so easy. It's, they made everything so easy. Just hit this button. No, I get it. It did make me think, though. It's a little fascinating. It made me wonder what technology in the future, if I have kids or grandkids, if I find some gal dumb enough to have kids with me, and now I'm an old man and they got to teach me technology, what is the technology going to be that I need to learn for whatever reason that I can't figure out and I don't want to, I'm too stubborn to want to remember it. Maybe too stubborn, maybe too old to remember it. I don't know. There's probably a little half and half going on with JPL 3. And again, I'm not dogging on it for this. This is how it is. He barely uses the App Store on his phone, and there's no reason for him to know where it is or have it available at all times. So, got it. But what is it going to be? Is it going to be like hologram or Minority Report type of stuff? Minority Report type of stuff? How you doing? Where it's all kind of in the air and you're just moving stuff around. The one thing I thought about a lot with technology was, as they advanced technology, the big advertising thing back in the day was like, we're making things so easy to use, like it's idiot proof pretty much. And everything was easier and faster and more user friendly. And it's funny, though, it's kind of ironic that as technology advanced and got more user friendly and easier for people to understand and use, it's just a touch of a button. It's a finger on a screen, touch screen. It's harder for others. It's harder for the older people who didn't grow up learning about it. Like, iPhone came out when I was in high school, college. I think college was the first year that the iPhone came out. I think I was a freshman in college, maybe a sophomore. I don't know, something around there. So we grew up learning how to do all this stuff with the new technology. It was prime for us. Just like my parents grew up with their new technology, like the different televisions and radios and car phones, things like that. touch-tone phones. That sounds all old and like I'm patronizing. I'm not. But they know how to use that stuff. They knew like how to deal with carburetors and engines and this and that as that technology advanced. And I have no idea how to do a lot of that stuff. I mean, a lot of it's outdated. Got it. But I'm curious now what the new tech is going to be, what the future is going to look like when my kids have to teach me how to get to my GPS maps function on my device, whatever that is, or it's my little monocle that pops up a screen and I have to just think about it correctly for the neuropathic connections from my brain to the device take me to the map that I need to go. I don't know what's going to look like. I am very curious to see how that goes, that interaction goes, and I hope to God I remember, I have the long-term memory good enough to remember to go back to this episode where I talk about it here when I'm an old man in the future so that we can laugh about it. And then I crap my diaper. So that was a fun little event for my old man, but there you go. So they're back and happy, and now I'm getting all the email forwards again from my dad, so that's great. All right, what else we got here? I'm not doing news, politics, current events kind of stuff this week. I need a break. I think you guys need a break too. It's just terrible. Everybody's getting impeached, indicted, arrested, charged. Every politician's a crook. And all the other politicians care about is getting dirt on each and every politician and not actually leading this country and trying to improve this country. That's all I'm going to say about it. It's disgusting. So I don't want to talk about those people specifically anymore. So no politics, current events this week. It's just despicable. Anyway, the Yanks are on a bit of a run recently, stringing off a couple of good series, competitive series, some wins against some decent teams, and they're doing okay. Couple things I want to mention about this real quick for everybody. One, they started this decent run against the Oakland Athletics, which a team which will go down in history now, almost mathematically, certain of this, as the worst team, the worst season in baseball history. They're almost played themselves into that title already, and this early in the season. We're not even in June yet. So they beat them, and actually, if you watch those games, it wasn't until the end of the games where they actually came alive and played pretty well. They were struggling for a little bit in the beginning of all those games, basically, and it was tough to watch for a while. But anyway, they started a string, so I wanted to make mention of that because all you Yankee fans who get sucked into the lies and deceit and majesty of Brian Cashman, don't let this deter and take away from what we talked about earlier about the Yankees, in that if they don't make significant player moves and updates by the All-Star break, by the trade deadline, they will not be competitive for the World Series. I don't care. Don't believe anything Brian Cashman says. Anybody. He's been saying that they have a championship caliber team for over a decade now, and they haven't even sniffed the World Series in over a decade now. So don't tell me that guy believes any of the bull crap that he's been spewing to us the past decade, because it's lies. They only care about profiting and money and budget and not about actually winning World Series. So when he says that without the injuries we'll still be competitive, it's malarkey, okay? And don't let this recent string of success mask that from, make you forget about that. Because now he's going to say, see, we're a good team, and we still don't have all our guys back. Here are the guys that they're waiting on, okay? Luis Severino. I don't think Luis Severino has had a full season ever in the major leagues. He gets hurt every year. Giancarlo Stanton also might have not ever had a full season in the major leagues without getting hurt. Also, Giancarlo Stanton bats .210. Okay, so that's what we're missing. That's his bat. 30 home runs and a .210 batting average. Okay, so that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting on Carlos Rodon, or however you pronounce his name, who has a chronic back injury, which means forever. And they knew that when they traded for him. So he is permanently injured. So when he comes back, he will never be 100%. So we'll see how that goes. We're missing Josh Donaldson, who I like. I love his attitude. I like the fact that he wants to fight everybody all the time. I wish he was back on steroids so that he can start hitting again. But he's also a great third baseman. But he batted like 170 last year. So that's what we're waiting on. Okay? That's basically it. That's what we're waiting on. 200 average, 170 average, and a guy who's never had a full season, and a guy who has a permanent back injury, who will never be 100%. Okay? If you think that's a championship caliber team, you don't know ball. That's it. You don't know baseball. You are a fool. I don't want to call names because I don't want to be completely mean, but you're a moron. Okay? There is no way this is a championship caliber team. Don't let any string of success fool you. Okay? They did it last year when they went on the 50-18 run, and everyone thought, holy crap, these guys are awesome. And then when they went below 500 after the All-Star break, okay? So remember this. The team has not changed since last year. They're running it back with the same team, even a worse team, really, because Judge already is having a worse year than last year because he got hurt, and there's no possible way he's going to get the same numbers as he did last year. And he's doing great right now, but there's no possible way. So that's the Yankees right now. Don't forget about it. Now, speaking of Judge, he got called out for a potential cheating situation. And this is really just the Yankee haters, probably the Red Sox fans, probably some Astros fans trying to come back and say, see, the Yankees are cheating too, but they're never going to get called out because they're protected by Rob Manfred and the MLB. That's not the case. If they were cheating, first of all, if they're cheating, they should be called out for it. Second of all, if they're cheating, they're the worst cheaters. The worst cheaters out there, okay? Because at least the Astros won a World Series. Or at least the Red Sox won a World Series when they cheated. The Yankees suck. So if they're cheating, they're the worst at it because they still suck. And I love the Yankees. I'm a big-time Yankee fan. But he got called out because in the middle of an at-bat, he took a glance over at the dugout. It was obviously at the dugout. And then that during that pitch, he blasts a home run like 480 feet or whatever. So the Toronto Blue Jays announcers were giving him crap like, oh, he's definitely looking in and getting signals and this and that. And then everyone went up in arms about him cheating. And then he said after the game, like, no, I was looking in the dugout to see who was chirping after our head coach got kicked out of the game because, like, we're up 6-0. There's no reason for them to chirp, blah, blah, blah. You got the one end of the spectrum saying that he's a full-blown cheater and he should be punished for it and kicked out of the game. And then you have the other end of the spectrum saying there's nothing going on. He's the best ever. He's a nun, or whatever, nun, choir boy. Choir boy, then you get touched though. So maybe not a choir boy. But anyway, the reality of it probably is the Blue Jays are tipping their pitches, and somebody on the team sees it visibly with their peepers, their eyeballs, and they're helping out their teammate. And he took a quick glance. He saw what his teammates were giving him, or teammate, and he took advantage of it. And then in the press conference, he didn't lie to cover it up so that he wouldn't get in trouble because there's nothing wrong with that. He said that about the chirping because when you got a hot tip on somebody in baseball, you're not going to give it away on national television like that by saying, oh, yeah, they were tipping their pitches, because you wanted to keep tipping their pitches. So, of course, he's not going to say and admit that because now they're going to change things up and you're going to lose the advantage. Now, here's why there's no issue with that. Okay? And I know that's what Yankee haters or other teams who are doing the same thing. And if you hate those teams, this is the only time people have a problem with this. It's when the team they hate is doing it. If hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in any sport, ask any professional athlete. They all say the same thing. Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do successfully in sports. That's why people who bat 300 make it to the Hall of Fame and they fail 70% of the time, okay? So, if a pitcher or a player on the opposing team is giving away pitches, tipping their pitches, if the catcher, his legs are too open when he's giving his signs, if the pitcher is doing something like grabbing the brim of his hat every time he throws a curveball or whatever, if the runner on second base sees a sign that he can relay to his batter, like, game on. Okay? Any advantage you could get using your own eyeballs on the field with the players on the field in the confines of the field, dugout, around, inside the stadium, on the grass, then it's fair game. Okay? In fact, if you're not taking advantage of it, you're an idiot. And you deserve to lose and not be successful against that team. So if the Blue Jays were tipping their pitches, the Yankees better have been taking advantage of that. They need all the help they can get, all the legal help. Now, where it gets illegal and cheating is when you're using electronics and technology to pick up signs and relay them to players, like using cameras and zooming in on catchers giving signs or pitchers, with their hand in the glove, and then on a microphone or on a walkie-talkie or something, headset, you're relaying that information to players. That's illegal. Little buzzers on your chest that buzz certain sequences when different pitches are coming because you have a guy with a camera zoomed in, passing you the information. That's illegal. But seeing something with your own peepers, your own two eyes, and then taking advantage of that blunder on the other team's part, no, that's baseball. That's how it should be played. In fact, I remember distinctly in Little League, one of our coaches, he saw that our pitcher, the opposing pitcher of a rival team, was giving away his curveball. When he was in his pitching motion, he would... I'm trying to look at the camera. I'm trying to look at the screen here, so I'm on the camera properly. He would turn his glove in a certain way so that when he was in his windup, the third base coach can see the grip he had on the ball. And he told us, hey, if I see curveball, I'll say your name twice. I'll yell your name twice from third base so that we knew curveball was coming. So if the kid was throwing a curveball, he would say, John, and then bang, I knew the breaking pitch was coming and I can go strike out on it. And not one time did I or anybody on the field, the opposing team, anybody ever think that's illegal, that's immoral. I don't know if I feel comfortable. That's probably cheating. No, that's the game. In fact, the team eventually found out that we picked up on it, and all they did was tell their pitcher, hey, you're giving away your pitches. Cut that crap out. They didn't say, hey, umpire, they're cheating. They're looking at our pitches. No, they knew. That's how the game is actually played. So if that's what Aaron Judge was doing, which is most likely the case, good on him. Other teams should be doing that too. If you're picking up signs with your eyeballs or your teammates picking up signs with their eyeballs or they're tipping pitches or something, take advantage of it. Be a man. And don't be a little beta bitch boy and complain about it and can call it cheating just because your team is losing because of it. And they're the ones giving away the pitches or whatever. So that's all I have to say about that. Now, we'll get to the good stuff. All right? And we'll step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Helen's Hot Pants for Men. It's summertime, fellas. So it's time to hit the public pools to show off those pasty thunder thighs and tiny peepees. And there's no better way to do that than with a pair of Helen's hot pants for men. Helen's untested testicular technology allows for the smallest of inseams so that you can flash some skin while also maintaining maximum comfort and cupping so your twig and berries look up to 3 times their actual size. So to look big at the beach today, visit www.hoghuggers.com and use the promo code shrinkage for 29% off. I went to the public pool with my sister and nephew and niece last summer because my nephew wanted to show me how he jumps off the diving board and does cannonballs and what have yous. And then go down the slide. It was very fun. But there were way too many guys out there dressed like they were going to a swingers party or going to the Playboy Mansion pool party. And I don't know. Here's the thing with fads and trends. The trend these days for men's summer wear or athletic wear are shorter shorts. All right. Mid-thigh shorts. And the people really that you see most with them are on Instagram or on commercials or ads for these shorts. And they're big, like jacked big leg muscles. They do a lot of squats, big pecs, hunky guys with ripped tank tops, shrink tank tops, and they got these short shorts, and that's how they're selling them. Just like how women advertise for bikinis and yoga pants with hot chicks with nice butts so that everybody goes and buys them so that they think they're going to have a nice butt with it. And the result in reality always ends up being a lot of people who should not be wearing these in public end up wearing these in public. Okay? Now, you want to buy them and wear them and flaunt what you got. I'm all for that. Okay. I'm never going to say like, go back in private. You're disgusting, whatever. But when you're at a public pool that is there for children, it's not an adult swim only type of situation. In fact, the whole time I was there, I don't think they did adult swim at all. And sometimes pools do that where they do, adults only sometimes. Let the parents go in and have a dip. They didn't even do that. This was kids only. So you got to be mindful that when you're fatting around, which is fine, you want to be a fat and let the gut hang over your waist belt and hide your pee-pee. Got it. All for you. We're in America and I'm here for it. But when you're wearing short shorts to the point you got your pube hairs coming out the bottom and you got children there, now you're crossing the line into inappropriate. Okay? I'm not saying you can't be out in public, but you got to be respectful and know your environment. Don't wear them. Don't wear Helen's hot pants out at public pools when there's kids around. Wear them at your own pool or when you're trying to impress an adult lady or guy. Not kids, though. Stop it. Anyway, get yourself a pair of Helen's hot pants. What the hell are we doing here, folks? All right, the Cage fact. Just got word that there's a video game. Apparently, it's a multiplayer video game that's been out for a while, have different versions and levels. It's called Dead by Daylight. Never heard of it before this, but apparently come July, the great one, Nic Cage, will be playing himself in the video game. He will have his own character in the video game called Nic Cage, and it's himself. So when you play the game, you can choose Nic Cage as your character. If you think I'm not downloading that game when it comes out in July, you don't know me at all, and you have no business being on this show anymore. You bet your ass I'm buying that game. If it's not free, if it's not on Game Pass, I'm buying it. I'm selling my house. whatever I got to do to get that game to be Nic Cage, I'm doing it. And hopefully by then I'm going to try to figure out how to do Twitch so that you guys can see it live, and I'll try to Twitch myself doing Nic Cage games. I was about to say doing Nic Cage on a game, but it's a family show, so sorry, Terrence, we're not doing that family show. Anyway, that's the Cage Fact. That's it. He's going to be in a video game as himself, as a character, as himself, and I am there for it. I'm very excited. I have no idea what this stupid game could be about. It is no longer stupid, though. It is on my radar. It's on your radar. Get ready for it. July 5th. Now there's a reason for me to remember July 5th, even though it's my sister's birthday. Now I have something to remember. July 5th is Nic Cage comes out on Dead by Daylight, and I'm playing it. Happy birthday to my sister. All right. Moving on over into the Junction. We'll spin the logo up. I don't have much to say today on the Junction. In fact, I probably took up enough time as it is rambling about the Yankees and other crap. Real quick, I'm back off the peasant water. Okay, I finally finished all the peasant waters that I got refunded on when they sent me the wrong stuff, and I'm back on the sparkling water, Mountain Valley. I found another one I'm going to try too. It's called Crazy Water or Crazy Fizz or something like that. It's actually a Texas homegrown sparkling water. I think it's actually the HEB. The HEB is the grocery store here in Texas. HEB. It's Harold E. Butts is the guy who started it, and that's real. That's not a joke. I think the Crazy Fizz or Crazy Pop or whatever it's called is the HEB brand sparkling water. It's a little cheaper. It's actually pretty good, so I'm going to get that too. But big fan of the sparkling water. No more peasant water, so we're happy about that. Now, I have to admit something first before I get into this topic today. I've been struggling lately with coming up with good topics to provide to the people that are entertaining and teach some lessons and what have you. My brain has been fully immersed in the business and getting my house in order and figuring out my future and my life in that regard and how everything's going to work together. I've been dealing with some National Guard bull crap with that stupid garbage going on. So my brain has been not all there when it comes to thinking of good topics each week for the Junction. And that's on me. I apologize for that. I have no excuse for that. This is something I actually enjoy doing. This is my escape each week. And I want to keep it that way. So I got to be better at that. Thinking of topics, and I almost feel bad always coming to the fans and be like, "Hey, what do you want to hear about this week?" But if you do have ideas, please hit me up in the DMs and the Instagrams. LPD_show. Is that what it is? Yeah, LPD_show, and then the hotline 202-670-1114. But I'm gonna get better at it. The show's not going away. Okay, I know you probably see the quality may be going down. I haven't bought a new audio interface in a while. I need to do that. The website's not there anymore. What's going to happen with Libretti? Like, is the LPDS going away? It's not going away. It's what I enjoy doing. Okay, it's my hobby. Just like every day when people go home from work, they have a thing that they do. They take naps. They have hobbies. They play video games. They watch, reality TV shows. This is it. It's LPDS. I get home from work mentally and LPDS. Okay, so it's not going away. But I want to apologize for the fact that I've been struggling as of late with some good topics, and I got to get better. So I was struggling this week again. But a friend posted. This is a weird one, okay? Because I have nothing against this friend. They're a good person, probably a coworker. We used to be brothers in arms together. And this is not a dig on them per se. This is not as weird as what we'll talk about, but they lost a family member, and they posted a picture of the coffin in the church during the funeral for that family member. It was just on a story, like a Snapchat or Instagram story, and it disappeared. It wasn't like a full post. But it sparked the questions. Okay? What What is that? And it's not to this person because I've seen other people do it, and it's way worse. This was just a coffin in the church, but it was strange. Okay, and I'm trying to give everybody the benefit of the doubt here. But can somebody tell me what the point of that is? Okay? And I struggle. to not see anything but like a nefarious, narcissistic reason behind this. No matter what I do to try to, what angle I try to come at this with, all I think about at the end of the day is like, this post is for attention so that people can message that person and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Here's the sympathy. Here's the condolences. And then you get that dopamine hit and you feel good about yourself. That was the negative aspect of that. But as I'm struggling to figure this out, it hits me. Even if that's the reason, that's maybe what that person needs to feel better. Dopamine hits make you feel better. That chemical that surges through your body when you get that, it makes you feel better. Okay? So that's what this person needed at the time. They needed to feel better about the loss of a loved one. And they needed, they needed a shoulder to cry on. They needed someone to say it's going to be okay, whatever. That's the route they took to do it. Now, so I don't have a problem with the why. I can empathize with that. After doing a lot of digging in my own brain, a lot of mental gymnastics, I think that's the reason why they just needed to feel better and they needed somebody to help them with that. And that was their way of getting it out there so that people know, hey, I'm sending a message. This is an SOS. Come talk to me, console me, whatever. It wasn't just to be like, love me, give me attention. I'm a narcissist, whatever. I don't think that's the case here. But post a message, a quick little couple sentences. Just lost a family member. I'm very sad. This person was great. Give them a little bit of a mini eulogy if you want. That'll have the same effect, I believe. Probably a better effect when people see that because they can send you the condolences and the love and talk to you without it even coming off as cringe at all, in my opinion. And I'd like to hear your guys' take on it. I'd like to hear your opinion to see if you think it's cringe, regardless, whether it's just a post or a photo. But to me, you're in a funeral and you're stopping all emotions, all natural things that go on in a funeral, mourning, eulogizing, celebrating the life of. You're stopping all that to take a picture and then post the picture on social media in the middle of a funeral. It's a little strange to me, folks. It's a little weird that people do that. Despite the reasons even though they needed help, they needed some comfort. I get it. Find a better way to do it. Okay? In the middle of the funeral, you're there with family and friends physically. Get the comfort from them, and then you can post about it before or after so you could get the friends outside your network to help you with comfort and condolences. The funeral photo, though, is a little strange. Now, I will say it's not nearly as strange as some of the other crap you see out there by people who are clearly have some sort of mental health issue going on where they need the attention and sympathy and fake sympathy and whatever it is, because I've seen people take selfies of them smiling with the dead open casket person right there next to them. Hey, smiling. Hey, my aunt's dead. Aunt Helen loved her hot pants. She's dead. I've seen people make TikTok videos of them doing sad dances in front of the caskets at wakes. Okay, so regardless of the reason, regardless of if you're actually looking for help, it's an SOS, it's a real message. We got to pick better messages, folks. Okay? A little funeral wake etiquette here. Don't do that shit. Okay? Post about it after. Post a little eulogy out there. I lost my dog. I lost my best friend, whatever. It's sad. I know people want to get sympathy so they feel better. I get that. I understand that feeling. I like it too. You want to be comforted. You want to be, feel like somebody's there and cares about you. I had to put my dog down, Stan, rest in power. Everybody knows Stan, who's a true ride or die of the LPDS. And it was one of the saddest things I ever had to do that wasn't involving losing, a human being as, like a grandparent or something. And I went by myself to the vet. I had to get it done by myself. And then the person I was dating at the time, I went to their house to help them with some stuff. And there was zero condolences. It was like a high five, like, hey, sorry, but I really need help with this housework. So help me with this housework. And then that person started crying about messing up the house thing, like the renovation or whatever that we were working on. And I had to give, console that person. So I felt completely like shit, utterly unseen, unheard. And I reached out. I reached out to my family and friends like, hey, I feel like a little bitch right now. I can't get over this dog. Help a brother out here. And I got where I really needed. So what I'm trying to say, and I'm not trying to dog on any exes here. That was just a particularly negative moment there where I needed comfort and condolences for a loss of a loved one. And so I understand that feeling completely. That's what I'm saying here. I completely get the feeling, and you got to go find that somewhere. When you lose a loved one, you got to find it somewhere. But posting coffins with dead bodies in them or open caskets of selfies and dances, that's not the way to do it, folks. Please see that. Okay, take the step back. I know you're in an emotional state here when you lose a loved one, but posting photographs in public of caskets and dead bodies and you doing selfies with them, that's not the way to get to the end game of feeling better about something. We have to realize that. Okay, that's very weird. That's very cringy. It sends a very poor message because not a lot of people out there outside of the LPDS, the Junction, the LPDS universe are going to do that critical analysis, are going to take that step back and think about why the person did that and swim to the actual understanding that this person needs to be consoled and comforted. They're not going to do that. They're going to see that and be like, this person is disgusting, making this about them, trying to get sympathy about, for them and not about the fact that they just lost a loved one. They're posting it in public. It's despicable. I know you don't want to send that message, so don't post those pictures. Okay? That's the message here, folks. That's the lesson here is there are better ways, more fulfilling ways to seek comfort and consolement from people when you lose a loved one. Okay? And it's very difficult to think clearly and logically in times of sadness and stress like that, emotional turmoil. Okay? You lose a loved one and your brain goes out the window and you're all emotions and it's tough. Okay? I've been there. And even back when I think about the loss of loved ones, I still get emotional and my brain goes flying out the window too. So I get it. But before, think about it every day up to that point. When you're actually thinking logically, get your mind, get your muscle memory to the point of when shit hits the fan and sad days are ahead, I'm not going to post the most cringy thing possible to get the comfort I need because it's going to backfire. I have to imagine that my friend probably got some sort of weird messages from people or hate behind their backs for this post. I almost, like, in my initial reaction was like, what are we doing here? Okay, stop making this about you. But then I took the step back and realized there's a different reason behind it. But pick a different avenue to get there. That is not the way to go. Long story short, don't post pictures of coffins and open caskets and selfies of you smiling in front of dead bodies to get to seek comfort and condolences. It's a weird look. Okay? It's a weird look. And I encourage people to hit me up if they disagree. I don't know if this person even listens to this show or watches this show. They probably don't, so they probably won't hear it. But I would like to talk to them after they mourn, when things are a little bit, less emotional, so we can have an adult conversation about it. I did reach out to them and we talked, and they were able to vent, and I believe I helped them seek comfort. I hope I did. I certainly didn't call them out on this just yet, but I do want to have the conversation with that person of like, can you tell me what was going on here? So that's all I got. Actually, real quick, I'm going to make this as quick as possible, but I want this to be, take note of this, okay? Maybe I shouldn't be quick about it. I don't know. There was another Air Force suicide recently, and I mentioned this because it was somebody from a unit, a reserve unit, that I deployed with. I don't remember this person particularly in person, like being deployed with this person, but the unit they were in, the team they were on, I deployed with that team in Afghanistan. So I know his coworkers, friends, and whatever. We were brothers in arms. We did the same shit out there in the shit. And this person committed suicide, apparently. And it's sad, okay? It's tough. You see it, like, I follow all of my friends and brothers in arms that I deployed with on social media, so that's how I found out about it. They're all coming together to console each other there or whatever. No coffin pictures, thankfully. But it brought up a good point. While we're talking about death here, folks, it brought up a good thing here. Not a good thing, but something important to me. And I've mentioned this in the past several times. I did that push-up challenge that my buddy sent me that I usually hate doing on-live Facebook challenges, but I did it because it was bringing awareness, hopefully, to the issue of veteran suicide and military member suicide. And this is just bringing it up again because this is important to me. Okay? And it infuriates me that this is not important to our politicians, the media, or anybody who has the actual ability to do something about it. Okay, if you remember, we discussed several months ago, maybe like a year ago, I don't know how long ago it was, they put out that bill that essentially gave a whole bunch of money to veterans who died because of complications from deployed environments, or they're suffering now with cancer and Agent Orange and other issues, PTSD from their time in the military. It was a bill that pretty much gives them a bunch of money on the back end, but still did not provide treatment to them, like actual treatment, and provided no plan to help those in the future as they get out of the military to provide the treatment that they need so that they're not suffering with PTSD and traumatic brain injuries, and that they're not just giving their dead families money. Or the money of the dead, the families of the dead money, excuse me. So it didn't do anything of that. Jon Stewart went on a whole rant about how important it is to take care of veterans, and that's why it's despicable that the politicians who voted no to this act voted no in the first place, because this is going to help the veterans. It mildly helps line the pockets of the veterans who got dicked over by the military and got no treatment after they got out of the military, and they're suffering for it. It gave them a couple bucks and their families a couple bucks to shut them up. It does not provide actual help so that people don't kill themselves and are not suicidal when they have PTSD and that they're not getting treatment for. It doesn't do any of that. So it's infuriating to me that this is still going on, that the politicians are talking about Bud Light commercials and rainbow flags and other crap. And I'm going to catch a lot of heat for this. It's other crap that is really not that important, okay? Putting a trans person on a Bud Light can is good. Let them do that. Good for the trans person so that they can get their check and get their bag and live their lives. Let trans people be trans people. Let gays be gays. Let straights be straights. Well, let them go. I'm all here. I'm here for all of that. I love all of that. But these are not serious political issues that should be dividing the country into absolute turmoil and chaos. And these are the main campaign points of these politicians when you have upwards of 20 plus veterans a day committing suicide because they're not getting treatment that we were promised by the government. +20 people a day, military veterans alone. This is just on the military veteran side, not anybody else, not the other people that are suffering from mental health issues that are killing themselves. Veterans alone, 20+ a day, are committing suicide because they go out there and have to conduct the most atrocious, inhumane things for the good of the country and watch it happen. Watch people die. Watch children die. Watch dudes get beheaded. Watch their own best friends, brothers in arms, get shot and killed and blown up. And then when they come home and take the uniform off, the military gives them their DD-214 separation orders, and they kick them to the curb. And they say, oh, here's the phone number for the Veterans Hotline and for the VA, and they'll take care of all your treatment. Call the VA. Okay? Let me know if you get a human being within an hour on the VA. Okay? And then when you get a human being, let me know if you get any actual treatment from the VA. Because the vast majority of the VA hospitals are underfunded, undermanned, and oversaturated with veterans who need help, and they're not getting the help. And then at the top of the VA, it's standard government corruption. Government appointees leading the way, stealing the money, and not actually improving the VA to give the veterans the treatment they need. So 20+ people a day are so mentally unwell and injured and hurt that they think that death is better than the current situation they're in. And they're killing themselves. And nobody's talking about it in the government. None of the politicians running for office, none of the legislatures, none of the social media politicians that you see every day posting about flags and guns and abortions and whatever else, Bud Light cans, shooting Bud Light cans, they're not talking about it. And people that sacrifice themselves and their families for the good of this country are killing themselves at an alarming rate, and it hasn't gone down. And it hasn't gotten better. And mum's the word from our politicians. Okay? And that's what's infuriating to me, and that's why I bring it up. And I know I just dropped the entire vibe of the podcast down to zero, but it's important for me to talk about because it's disgusting. It's one of the most disgusting things that goes on in this country, besides everything else that the politicians lie about and are corrupt about, is that they force these military members to go out and combat. Now, we volunteer to be in the military, but these wars are not for us. They're not protecting our freedom and national security. They're for political, chess moves. And that's not a wild tinfoil hat thing either. That's obvious. And they go out and their lives change forever. and they have TBIs and mental health issues and PTSD, and they're getting no treatment for it. The government is like, thank you for doing our bidding. Kick rocks. We have Ukraine flags to put up and billions of dollars to support them and not you. Speaking of which, real quick, the Pentagon just came out and said that they accidentally overvalued the equipment that they put on their price sheets that they gave to the Ukraine. Oh, we thought, we wrote down initially that it was more money than it actually was. It ended up being $3 billion more. So now we're going to give them more. We're going to give them up to $3 billion more dollars of aid and weapons because of that oversight. So they've just created a loophole to give more money to the Ukraine. $3 billion more to the Ukraine because of a quote unquote slight oversight of an overvaluation. $3 billion. Okay? And we're fighting a war here in our own country with our own veterans killing themselves. But that's important. That's more important. Okay? Do you see why I get angry here, folks? Do you see why this stuff's important to me and it drives me nuts that nobody else is talking about it? This is why. Okay? We have people losing their lives, destroying their families because of mental health issues, medical issues that they can't get treatment for because the people in charge of providing the treatment and the money for the treatment are doing shit about it. And they care more about their political pawns and their chess moves so that they can line their own pockets and stay in power than they do about actually helping the American people out. It's infuriating. Now I'm hot and bothered. I ruined the podcast episode with this, but I don't care. Okay? I feel strongly about this. Okay? And I want other people to feel strong about this too. I'm not going to obviously say you're a monster if you don't. You're entitled to your own opinions, but to me this is important. This is an actual problem that needs to be fixed. I don't give a shit about the Ukraine-Russia war that started with as an under-the-table racket to begin with. Yeah, it's tough that people are losing their lives. I obviously don't want innocent people losing their lives ever. But when our own government is choosing them as more important than their own people, that says something to me. Okay? We're losing more people here by veteran suicide alone than the Ukraine is over there. If we're going to go by the numbers here. Okay? Yet over $120 billion has been funded, pushed over to the Ukraine for whatever unaccounted for money and equipment. Imagine what we can do with $120 billion to fund training and qualification education for medical professionals and better facilities for the VA so that they can treat their veterans. Just the veteran side. Imagine what $120 billion can do. Imagine what $10 billion can do. They're getting none compared to the Ukraine. Okay? So yeah, I'm a little heated. I sound a little crazy right now, but this shit gets me fired up. That's all I got to say about that, though. All right? I'm sweating like a lady of the night in church. But before we go, the big three. All right? The three pillars to staying strong and being a better, happy. All right. Sorry about that, folks. Had a little camera issue over here in YouTube land for some reason. Anyway, the three pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, more positive human being and spreading that goodness throughout the world. Number one, exercise every day. It'll make you physically, mentally, and emotionally healthier. Okay? Nothing but good right there. All right. Number two, the hardest one to do, don't be a shitty person. Be a good person instead. When the opportunity arises to be an asshole to somebody, even if you think they deserve it, just don't do anything. Okay? by omission alone, you are minimizing the negativity and the shit going on in the environment, in the ether, in the world. So don't be a shitty person. Number 3, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. Okay? Experiences, things, people. Because you never know when they're not going to be there anymore. All right? Also, check up on your friends. Okay? The people that are always smiling and posting pics of them, in awesome situations, looking like their life is perfect. Shoot them a text message. See how they're doing. Just to chat with them a little bit. Go meet up with them if you're close by. Check up on your friends. Okay? Be grateful that you have them in your lives and check up on them. Because there's nothing worse than finding out that they're not there anymore. And then you're sitting there in sadness that it happened and then regret that you didn't talk to them. You didn't find out how they were doing. I could have done more. I could have helped out. Check on your friends. Sorry for the Buzz Killington of the episode there, folks. But that stuff's important to me. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends and enemies. Check out the Instagrams for the future questions and LPDS polls and all that fan feedback stuff. Hit the hotline 202-670-1114. Ask me a question, give me feedback, ask for advice, whatever you want to do. Hit that hotline, and we'll spread the goodness of the LPDS. So, thank you guys again. I love you all.